Yeah.
Yes, sir, it's better.
Okay.
Oh, still we can't hear you. We hear you from far, sir. Please try to do something.
Um, I'm speaking loud now. So my settings are okay. Yeah, the settings are fine. So I'm pretty sure because even here, according to my volume thingy, it shows that volume is 75% up. So you can hear me clearly now. Better.
Yes, sir.
Right. So I hope you guys are good. And then we have a new topic that we're starting on today that we want to finish up. Oh, by the way, the assessor wanted to talk to you guys. So I'm not so sure if we're going to arrange a meeting maybe tomorrow so that he can talk to you regarding the submissions and stuff because there's some stuff that he wants to communicate with you guys. So I'm not so sure if it's possible between tomorrow and Wednesday, between the 2 days. But we're going to hear from him on what he says. So I hope everyone here submitted the summative because I never got time to actually check with you guys if you did, because I went through the portal to see the submissions and stuff. I noticed that a lot of you actually have done the submissions, but and then when I was going through, then I noticed that one or two actually haven't done their submissions. So let's I hope that everyone has, because the assessor has started marking. He has started marking. So I hope everyone else has submitted their summatives. So unless if there is a special request right now, please say it right now. I don't have a phone like currently. I don't have a phone, so you can't get in touch with me on WhatsApp. Can't get in touch with me on WhatsApp. So let's just if you have any questions, please address them. Otherwise, you have to email me. So I assume that everyone else is fine. Dumisan, where are you going, man? Like I'm seeing the road here, it's a little bit distracting. Dumisani.
I'm from my place, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm saying it's a little bit distracting, like when you're walking like that, because now all of us are wondering where you're going. So like, where's Dumisani going?
Yeah, I'll switch you on my video like in 10 to 15 minutes.
Yeah, please. Thank you. All right. So on this note then, do you have any questions, any clarifications that we need, or we sorted? Any questions, guys? And Busi, we heard your entire conversation that you had with your friend. That was a very interesting conversation. Okay, so guys, any clarifications, any questions, any queries, things like that? Do you have any? Do you have any questions, clarifications, queries? Hey, Troy.
Yes, sir. How are you?
I'm good, Troy. How are you?
Great.
Awesome.
With regarding to summative, right? You still remember the question? I'm sorry to take you back because
no stress, no stress. Yeah.
yes. I know
Yeah.
you explained several times, but it depends on how you read it. The question, the one that says design the technical report, right?
Oh,
So
okay.
so in my case, when you say design a technical report, it clearly like I don't know how to construct this, but when you say design a technical report, and how I saw the technical report, it's completely two different stories. So in regarding to that, instead of me answering, like you said, that I should put my document into a Word document in which it will become tedious and repeat the same thing over and over again, which is 21 pages, and now I have to summarize it into Word document. That was something else for me. But in my case, I attached the PDF that I did, in which I don't know how the guy's gonna mark, but actually I had an option whereby he can actually edit my report in that case.
On
So I don't
PDF,
know
yeah.
how he's gonna yes. So I don't know how he's gonna deal with it. So that is
Okay.
that is my slip and slope kind of question.
Okay. So on that, I think this is one of the things that he wants to talk about, Ansi, when he meets you guys. So I'm pretty sure he's going to address that issue. So I'm not, because for me, I don't really mind that. I don't mind those kind of submissions there. But at the same time, he might have as like a certain criteria that he's working with. Because the thing is, it's my first time working with him, so I don't know how his criteria is, but we still have to sit down and we talk about, especially that part there, especially if there's tasks that are similar to this one that you just did, because we're going to have projects and stuff like that that will need us to attach. So I'm pretty sure that's going to be an issue going forward. So I think with that, Mr. Ansi, let's give him an opportunity tomorrow for him to say what he needs to say. And then we are going to also to explain on our side why our submissions are the way that they are, because it's actually simpler to design it the way that you guys did it than for you to try to attach that entire thing at the back of your summative. It doesn't make sense. So, but anyway, let's just wait for him and then we hear what he says. I hope that answers you, Troy.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Saya. It does. Thank you.
Awesome. Okay. Do you have any other questions, guys? All right. It seems like we don't have any further questions. So this, let me just open up where we need to continue from. So I'm going to continue from here. So last time, I hope you guys can see my screen. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes, Mr. TC.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now we're starting with a new module or a new program. Let's guys call it a program because program is divided into modules or unit standards there. So now this new program here is called IT in Business. That is a IT in Business. So now this one is a very, very interesting topic of which what we're gonna do is we're going to go back to HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Like I know that some of you did a project last year, and then but now in this project, I saw a couple of projects before. Troy, I think I saw also your project was that HTML thing that you did last is it last year or actually this year? So what's going to happen is we are going to learn this particular module, internet and the word and the www. We're going to learn, and at the same time, like we do not have a lot of content on this particular on this particular module. We do not have a lot of content, but we also going to have a practical component, of which the practical component is at the end of this month, which means by the time we finish this particular module, you guys are supposed to design a website. like an entire website, proper working website, unlike the level 4 website that you guys did, that is just like a bunch of lines there. Now we're going to design a proper website. No, Fundo, I see you smiling and scratching your head there. Yeah, we're going to do that. You guys are going to design a website. But what is what learning all this stuff? So we'll also be doing the practical component. So which means the practical component, we are doing it simultaneously with our theory. So I hope you guys are ready for that, and I hope you guys are going to be following up these sessions. And these sessions are going to be very, very important. So you can't afford to miss any. And then if you do miss, then just make sure you go to the videos and check, because we'll be doing a lot of work there, which is a lot of practical work, of which practical you need to follow. Like we need to follow. And at the same time, guys, you also on your own side, you have to do a lot of research on your own, because I'm not going to be like showing you everything. Like I feel like right now, according to your progress, you have reached a point where now you can literally do certain things on your own without any input from anyone else. So as much as you can ask questions and ask for guidance and everything, we'll be there to assist you in that. But a lot of the groundwork you're going to do. So I'm going to show you how to start up, and then you guys are going to build up from there. So that's how we're going to be working with that. I hope this clarifies a few things. So now, going back to the document here. So in the document that we have, we've got this learner guide here, and then there are certain like as I said, IT in the business in business. So this is what we'll be dealing with. So we're dealing with different aspects there in ICT in the business. The first thing is demonstrate an understanding of the principles of the World Wide Web and the internet. So we need to understand what exactly the internet is, and we need to understand what the World Wide Web is. So those are the two aspects that we'll be dealing with for now. So we deal with that, and then this topic is actually worth 3 credits. There's actually around 3 items that we're doing there. And then the second aspect there is explain the principles of business and the role of information technology. So now explain the principles of business and the role of information. How does information technology play a role in business? So that is what this question is trying to explain. Hence, as we say, understand the role of technology in the business context. Like, how does IT operate? How does it help to deal with the business aspect of things? And also, demonstrate an understanding of the principles of implementing and managing an e-commerce website. Now, notice here, like from understanding what the internet is and understanding the World Wide Web, WWW. So we need to understand those two. After understanding those two, and then we need to understand the role that IT, especially in the form of internet and the WWW, like how do those two link? How do they work together? How does IT help to improve the business world? And then afterwards, now we come straight here, e-commerce website. See, like, and then they to single this topic out because like e-commerce plays a very, very important role, especially in the current business transactions right now. So the way the world is, the way that the world is structured, e-commerce plays a very crucial role. So we need to understand what exactly is an e-commerce site. How is it implemented? How does it work? See that, so which means we're dealing with, like, from deep down, we're dealing with from understanding a simple website to understanding these complex websites called e-commerce websites, because they are very complex websites, these ones there. And then also demonstrate an understanding of the use of websites in business. You see, so after understanding what an e-commerce website is, we also need to understand, like, how do websites work? Why do we need the website? Why do companies need the website? And then this here shows us a breakdown in terms of time. it shows a breakdown in terms of time of the stuff that you'll be covering throughout. So now the theory says 69 hours, practical 161 hours. Can you say, like, we've got a lot of time, especially for practical, and then assessments, you have like 40 hours for you to complete your assessments. So which means there you need to make that time. This time you need to make it. So of which, if you check in a month, you've got like 20 days. You have like 20 days, and then in those 20 days you have got like 2 hours. So which means technically, if you divide your month properly, you've got around 2 hours a day for you to be able to deal with your assessments. And then 161, also now you look at that 161, divide that by 20, then that will give you approximately what, 7 hours or so, which is a lot, but yeah. So of which practical component you have to put a lot of time into it, because anyway, that's the whole point of level 5. Level 5 is all about the practical component, while the theory component doesn't really take much. So that is a theory component there. So now to start up with things here, we're starting here from demonstrating an understanding of the principles of the internet and the World Wide Web. So here I'm going to show you something. I'm going to show you something. So let me do this. Let me do this. I'm going to present something. Can you see my screen? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir, we can see your screen.
It's written chapter 1, the internet and the World Wide Web, right?
Yes.
Yes, we can see it.
Okay. So there's this slide here. So I just want to introduce you to this particular topic. It's a lot of slides, so we'll go through them. As I say that currently right now, I can't communicate over the phone because I don't have WhatsApp. So what I would do is any slides that I have, then I'll send them to Spiwe, and then Spiwe will forward them to you guys on WhatsApp. So what's going to happen is probably tomorrow, Spiwe is going to upload these slides there, these slides that we'll be dealing with, and then we're making use of them. So yeah, so I'll just ask Spiwe to do that. So now the first thing here is the internet. What exactly is the internet? Like, what is the definition? What definition can you give about the internet? So now there is nothing more important than, before you understand what the internet is, it's always good to go back and understand the history behind internet. It's always important to understand the history behind the internet. So hence now, when we're defining the internet is an interconnected network of networks that link computer to computer using protocol. So this sounds like a little bit more fancy, but if we put it in layman terms, basically the internet is an interconnected network of computers globally, if I can put it like that. But now, when I say globally, also I'm kind of undersimplifying the term internet. Hence, it's always best now when you're defining internet, especially at your level now, this is an interconnected network of networks. So now you've got a network that you have, like your local area network, like your hotspot, which is a local area network, and then you've got your cell phone networks. You see, so you've got all those networks that are localized. And then now, once you start now linking those networks with other networks, so now you've got what they call an interconnected network of networks. So now linking computer to computer. Now, when I talk about computer, I talk about all these computing devices. So like, for instance, your cell phone, it's a computing device. As much as it's a cell phone, but it's still a computer, because That's why they call them smartphones anyway. It runs on an operating system. So technically it is a computer, even though it's a mini one, but it's still a computer. So hence, now we are linking that to all the other computers using a protocol. So now the history behind this is when the internet started, it was called ARPANET in 1961, which was a research network by the Advanced Research Projects Agency, which is called ARPA, and then of the United Defense Department. I always say this, especially if when I'm dealing with the kids at the school here, that the whole point of internet when it was first discovered, it was being used for defense. It was used in the army. That is where the internet first started. It started in the army. The internet didn't just, they didn't develop the internet for everyone, but they developed the internet so that they can have a secure network where they can communicate and share sensitive documents. So that is where the US Army started there with a particular thing of the internet. So that's when it became big. And then now that ARPANET there, that development resulted from collaboration among universities, industry, and the government. See, that's the way now the universities like Caltech, they came in here and they started also, they worked with the army for them to develop that ARPANET, because the army on its own couldn't do it, but they had to work with them. And then from there, then they started involving other industry giants like IBM. Then they started involving them, and then these guys, they developed the network further to what we have right now. So now, and then besides the internet now, also it's always good to understand now, and then if we're talking about the internet, is the internet the same as the World Wide Web? That is I'm pretty sure that's a major question that a lot of people usually ask themselves. Is the internet and the World Wide Web the same? The answer is simple, no. Like the internet and www are two very different things. As we say that, if you check, internet is an interconnected network. Internet is a network, full stop. That's what the internet is. It's a network. So as long as you've got different computers connected from all over the world, you've got a network, simple like that. If the other person opens their own computer, you can literally move your mouse, click, open, and copy the files that you need to copy. But now they're saying that here the internet uses a protocol. So now this is where now this comes in here. Now, when you talk about the website now, the World Wide Web, sorry, the World Wide Web, excuse me, is a network of computers that save web pages, that distributed hypermedia information system on the internet. Now, how is that information done? Information can be organized, linked, and accessed via client-server protocols. Now, remember the same internet protocol that I was talking about. Now, that internet that we have on the World Wide Web, like the World Wide Web is basically that, like, it's just a matter of interconnected web pages. Like you've got pages that you have, and then once they connect them, now they form part of what they call the World Wide Web. Hence the term World Wide Web. So now it's just a web that is like global. Then how do you access it? You're making use of a server client protocol. Now, when I talk about the server client protocol, this is what we're simply talking about. Like some of you here have worked in hospitals, some of you have worked for some different companies. I'm pretty sure this is not the first time you're hearing about the term called the server, unless if there's someone who wants to ask what a server is. Is there anyone who doesn't know what a server is? Hello? Do you guys know what a server is?
Can you elaborate?
Okay, a server is basically a computer that provides resources. That's what a server is. It's just a computer that provides resources. So now you've got one major computer that you have. For instance, you have a Gmail account, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So now the Gmail account that you have, now how like, what do you think your emails are saved? Are they on your phone or they're saved somewhere over the internet?
I think it's on the cloud.
It's on the cloud. But now, where is the cloud based? Is the cloud just a cloud space, or it is a base somewhere?
The base somewhere.
See, so now that base somewhere, there is a computer that actually operates as a server. You see, so now that computer provides resources. Now, what kind of resources does that computer provide? Now, this is where the term comes in. So now this computer here now serves. That's why we call it a server. It serves. It serves. Like, now, to serve is to provide, isn't it? So it now serves the populations around by simple providing space for you to be able to store your emails and your pictures, things like that. That's why you've got that, what we call the Google Drive. So now in that Google Drive, the Google Drive is actually hosted in a server. So they've got certain places around the world whereby they have these internet servers around. So where there's servers there, they're saving all your data there, so that anytime, whenever you pull out your phone, you press on the Google app, and then you say, okay, I need to receive an email, or I need to send an email. What it does is that server connects with your connects on the internet network. And then when it connects to the internet network, and then you actually accessing space where you're storing your things in that particular server, because the server basically acts as a desktop, if I put like that. And your phone now is the one that is acting as a client, because the client is served by the server, like in a restaurant. You're sitting down, and then the waiter goes and gets food and brings it back to you. So that's how this relationship simple works there. So now you've got those servers there, the client server protocol. The client server protocol is just that whole protocol, like, hello, good afternoon, how can I help you? So what do you need? Or you want food? Okay, I'll give you food. You see that? So that's how also your computer and the internet servers work. I don't know if that clarification. Hello? Okay. So anyway, now this is where the World Wide Web started. The World Wide Web started in 1989 at the European Park of Physics lab, CERN, by Tim Berners-Lee. This guy is British, so he's the one who actually was the father of the World Wide Web. So he's the one who started this, but it was during, like, this was a project. It's called the World Wide Web Project. This is where the World Wide Web started. Because if you notice now, almost all these major technologies that we have, for instance, the internet and the World Wide Web, can you see that, like, according to whenever you're trying to discover about their history and stuff, you notice that initially these things were never meant for the general populations. They were never meant for the general populations. This one here was for the European Particle Physics Lab. So which means this was a research lab. They wanted to use the World Wide Web for them to share information and files and stuff like that. Because let's say someone is in the United States and another person is in, like, Germany and stuff, they need to share information. This is how they actually discovered a protocol, and then they named it the World Wide Web. So that was the protocol there. And this protocol, when it first started, it was a very complex thing because they were using numbers for them to communicate. I'm pretty sure that right now, if you want to go on Google, you can type www.google.com. But back then, they used to type IP addresses like 192.168.0.1, something like that, for you to be able to access the server, because you needed to write the server address for you to be able to access the web pages that were stored. And then, but now things have been made easier. Now people just write words But back then, they never used to have words. It was more complicated because they used to use numbers and things like that. So now, the World Wide Web is divided. So now, the first thing is something called a web standard. A web standard is the World Wide Web, is part of the internet that consists of the internet connected computers called web servers that store electronic documents called web pages. Now, this is where now we come here and say, okay, if you are going on the internet and you are typing www.google.com, where exactly are you going? Like that information that you get that comes out in your screen, where is it coming from? It is stored in something called a web server. For those of you that have made a website before, or that have seen a website, or that have worked managing websites in your different places of work, you notice that, you notice that when it comes to these web servers, there are a lot of companies that actually provide web servers, especially now in this day and age. I'm pretty sure you guys have heard of companies like AfriHost. You have heard companies like Domain Hosting. You have heard companies like Absolute Hosting, Webmail? Yeah, Webmail, and then there's Hetzner, then Xnilo, there's GoDaddy. Like all those companies, they're actually web servers. So now these web servers, as I spoke about a server before, that there is what they call a client-server relationship or protocol. That client-server protocol is the same one that works also with web servers. Web servers store web pages, and then these web pages are the ones that you access. And how to access them? You use protocols to access them. And then what are those protocols? Initially, those protocols were simple IP. So this is where IP comes in. IP simple means Internet Protocol. You see, that's where they're getting that term IP. When you say IP address, you're simply talking about things like that. Internet Protocol. The Internet Protocol that you are using to communicate to a certain web server to get the information that you need. I hope that clarifies things a little bit. And then now, when it comes to a web page is specifically formatted document that can contain images, text, interactive elements, hyperlinks, which links to other pages. So that is what a web page is. That fancy page that every time when you open the internet and then you see things happening there, that is what you call a web page. And web pages you can maneuver through as if you are reading a book. That's why you learned there's something called a landing page when you open a website, which is the home page. And then if you need to move to the contacts, you press on the contact us button. That is another web page. If you need to check some information, there is help, and then you press on help, and then it gives you to another page. All those pages there, that is what we call a simple web page there. And then a website is a group of web pages. That's what a website is. And notice, a website is not the World Wide Web. Hear that? The World Wide Web is a network. Like the internet. The internet is a network. The World Wide Web is a network. But the World Wide Web doesn't exist outside of the internet. Please take note of that. So now the World Wide Web is part of the internet, and hence we say the World Wide Web is a part of the internet that consists of interconnected, connected computers called web servers that store web pages. And then a web page is simply a document that can contain pictures, text, videos. Like YouTube is that kind of an interactive web page. And then you've got your Instagrams, and then you've got your Wikipedias, the wikis, and all that stuff. There's a lot. And then now, when it comes to a website, say a website's primary page is known as the home page. I spoke about this just now, which typically introduces the website and provides information about the site's purpose and the content. So now that is what a home page is there. So and then now, the World Wide Web has got things called hyperlinks. Now go back here. I spoke about this that here I say that they contain images, text, interactive elements, and hyperlinks that link to other pages. So now, what is then is a hyperlink? A hyperlink, or known as a link, is a word or a phrase or an image that connects web pages. E.g., what you guys call buttons. Sometimes a button also is a form of a hyperlink, especially in your phones. And then there are other documents that are just written. Click here. You see, like when you sign in a document there, you open your Instagram account, and then there's username, password, and then there's login, that button that's written login there. Login, the moment that you press login, as much as you are activating a method, you are also connecting to another web page. Because if you check, when you guys are designing web pages, you notice that this is one thing that you design a home page, you're going to design a login page, you're going to design a sign up page, and then from there, when a person logs in and then they press login, and then it doesn't end there. With the moment that they press login, if the details are correct, it moves them over to the home page. That just shows you that that button there is actually acting as a link. And then exploring the web by jumping from one page to another is sometimes called browsing or surfing the web. So that is what you do. Like every time, whenever you browse in the web, you are literally moving from one page to another. So when you press on this page, move to the next page, move to the next page. You are literally browsing the internet, walking through the internet there. And then 3 ways to access the internet and the web. And now, how then do you access the internet and the web? How do you do that? So now, in the past, the most common way to access the internet was using a dial-up phone line. Today, faster methods such as digital dedicated lines, cable broadband, wireless transmissions, fiber, all of those things have now been introduced into the system. So now we can transmit data anyhow. You can use your cell phone to communicate with a satellite somewhere and surf the internet. That is a wireless transmission. You've got Wi-Fi, wireless transmission. Cable broadband, your fiber is also part of that broadband, because broadband is simple high-speed internet connection. That's what broadband mostly deals with. And then digital dedicated lines. There are certain lines that have been dedicated for that. Like before, I'm pretty sure you guys also know this. I remember growing up, like as a kid, early 2000s, as a kid, yeah, around that much, because so in the early 2000s, like I started primary when I was around grade, yeah, I started grade 1 around 2002 or so. So anyway, now when you're looking at it as that, now you get to notice that, okay, internet is actually advanced a lot, because there's times when you try to watch a video on your phone, it didn't work. Like it will do what they call buffering or something like that. But now we don't know that stuff. Now, whenever you just press, if you have a proper internet connection, you can watch your video with no stress. See, because of the transfer rates. Now the transfer rates have changed. Now the speed at which data travels from one device to another is called the transfer rate. The transfer rates back then, they were very, very small. The bits per second, they were very, very small. But now the bits per second are high. Now you go up to gigs in terms of bits per second. Go all the way up to gigs now. You see, so now with time, things have changed. And then we've got one, fixed or mobile wireless. Fixed or mobile wireless access. Now, fixed wireless is internet connectivity service that uses a satellite technology, e.g. your cell phones, or like some houses, they make use of these antennas there that deal with, like for instance, a lot of you do that. You've got rain routers that you're making use of. That is a fixed point high-end wireless access. So you've got your router there, and then your router communicates with a tower, and then the tower sends a signal through to the devices that are at home. Those 5G routers and stuff that you have, the Vodacom ones, the Vodacom routers that you have, all of them they are what they call fixed high-speed wireless internet. They provide what they call fixed-speed wireless access. And then you've got this mobile. Mobile are those ones that you carry around. Those are the mobile ones. The ones that you have at home, those ones that are fitted, that are sitting at home there, that use the main power, that's not mobile, that is fixed. And then mobile are the ones that you carry around. You know, these mobile routers, the small ones that you carry around. So those ones, they provide what they call mobile internet access. So now this is a connectivity service that uses radio signals, or what they call wireless fidelity, which is short for Wi-Fi, which is longer for Wi-Fi, actually abbreviated as Wi-Fi. That's what Wi-Fi symbol means, wireless fidelity then. And then Wi-Fi, provides wireless connectivity to devices within a certain range. That's the thing with as long as you're within the range, of which the range of most Wi-Fi devices is around 10 meters at most. That is the range of most of these devices there. And then there's 3G, 4G, 5G. This is wireless technology. The G stands for generation. That's what these G's mean. It's simple like that. So right now we're sitting in the 5th generation, which is the 5G, and they're working on the 6th generation. I will speak right now, they're busy working on the 6th generation.
Sir, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Oh, I wanted to know, like, what made up a tower, sir? Like,
what
makes a tower, like, say, like,
what makes a tower?
Yeah, like the combination of the devices there, like for it to be like faster.
Oh, okay. Remember, towers, they've got antennas. And these antennas, they've got what they call boosters inside. And then these boosters, they are basically, they're like a wireless device, like a modem at home there. You know, your Wi-Fi receiver that you carry around. But now, because now these ones there in the towers, they are bigger, and then they broadcast their broadcast capacity is much wider compared to Wi-Fi. So it's that antenna there that receives and sends out a signal. And then that antenna is attached to a booster, which is on the ground. I'm pretty sure you've seen most of these towers, they've got, it's either the booster is up there or the booster is somewhere in the ground. There's like something that looks like a container that they have at the bottom of the tower there. So that is what usually most towers are basically made up of that, a booster and an antenna. So that antenna is a receiver, and it also sends out a signal. But remember that the complex though is, the process though is a little bit more complicated than the way that I'm saying. The way I'm saying it's just for understanding. It's just like what you understand, that in the tower you've got an antenna that receives and sends a signal, and then also it is a booster. A booster is the one that actually allows the signal to be sent wide and to be received from a wider area. That's why if you check towers, also they've got different ranges. Have you noticed that a tower in the rural areas and a tower in Joburg, they're different? Hey?
I haven't noticed that, sir.
You haven't noticed? You should check them proper. Towers in the rural areas, they've got a very wide range compared to towers in urban areas. urban areas, they've always put smaller towers. They never put like those big towers that they put in Ezilalini and stuff like that. They've got a very, very large radius. They can go 50 km or so. But urban areas, mostly what they do is they usually limit those towers to around 5 meters or so. I mean, 5 kilometers or so. They don't, because then they put a lot.
And can like I own one, like have my own towers, or like it's private?
All towers are owned by companies. So if you can build your own, I've seen people that have got towers.
Okay.
Yeah, I've seen people that have towers. Like, have you seen those guys that own security companies?
Yeah.
Yeah, they built their own.
Okay.
Yeah, you can build your own as long as you register it. Okay, so now say that 3G devices must support speech and data services, while 4G systems will support gaming and stream multimedia. Like even now, if you check, 3G is okay, but I don't think anyone uses 3G anymore. That's why we say it supports speech and data services. That's just normal things. Like your WhatsApp can go via 3G. You can send a WhatsApp message. But if you need like to do something like heavy lifting and stuff, 4G or 5G is the way to go. It's just that it's a pity that here in South Africa, as much as we call ourselves a developed country, or okay, we're a developing country, as much as we think that we are advanced, we're still far behind when it comes to technology. Even our 5G is not even that expansive, because our 5G is only limited to urban areas, and even those urban areas, it's only metropolitan cities. That's why you check Joburg, Pretoria, Midrand, Port Elizabeth, Durban, Cape Town. The major metros are the ones that have got 5G. Okay. So now, if you check here, high speed versus super high speed. Okay, this image is a little bit old. That's why it says high speed. 3G is no longer high speed. 3G is okay. It's 4G is now what they call high speed, and 5G is now super fast speed. That is the difference there. See, so now when it comes to average speed and stuff, 4G average is around, actually the new 4G, which is our LTE. Our LTE can go all the way up to, usually LTE average is around what? Between 20 and 80 megabytes per second. Then 5G is faster. 5G can clock up to 100 and something megabytes per second. So it's a little bit different there. And now, then we've got something called an internet service provider. Now, an internet service provider, or what we call an ISP, I'm pretty sure you guys have seen this before. An ISP is a business that has a permanent internet connection and provides temporary internet connection to individuals, companies using one or more access methods, e.g. dial-up, high-speed dial-up, broadband, or wireless. So e.g. the stuff here, don't worry about these examples here. The examples that you usually have here in South Africa, companies like Vox, MTN, Vodacom, AfroHost, we've got your MWeb, you've got Rain. You see, like a lot of these companies, they provide internet, I mean, they are internet service providers. They have got permanent internet access. Notice, when saying we have permanent internet access, these guys here literally own a share of the internet in South Africa. And then from there, what then do they do? Then they provide you with a temporary internet connection. And then how does that work? You pay a certain amount of money every month. they give you internet connection. If you do not pay, they will cut the internet connection. Hence, that's why we say it's temporary. It's temporary because they will give it to you as long as you pay them a certain amount of money. If you do not pay them a certain amount of money, then they don't give you internet, full stop. That's how it simple works. So ISPs, there are these businesses that do that. They provide you with temporary internet access, and then via different methods. Some of these, they specialize in 5G, like for instance, Rain specializes in 4G and 5G, which is basically what we call wireless. And then Telkom specializes in fiber and in wireless. See, and then if you talk about Vox is only fiber. They only deal with fiber. Vodacom, they deal with both fiber and wireless. You see, so a lot of these companies, they rotate around that much. So now, when you're talking about fiber, remember, high-speed dial-up, or no, fiber is no longer dial-up. We don't use dial-up anymore. Fiber is more broadband, or some fiber now is becoming wireless also. So now that is where now you see like this ISP come in. An ISP is any business that is a permanent internet connection and provides a temporary internet connection to users for a certain fee.
On that issue now,
Yeah.
I think like any citizen that should have access on internet, like, do you have like an idea on what happened after, say?
The thing is this, South Africa doesn't own internet. Remember, internet comes to us from outside, and these companies, they buy the internet, and our government cannot afford to provide each and every person in the country with internet. It's as much as it's something that is a good idea for everyone to have access to internet, our government can't afford it. There's just too many things that are happening, and the amount of tax that's coming in is not enough to cover up for the expenditures that the government is going through. So now, when you're looking at that, then it's impossible for the government to say, you know what, let's prioritize internet services. They can't do that because it's not priority.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, it's not priority really. As much as, yes, it's a good idea, but we can't afford it. So now, next part here is the web browsers. Now, after now we know the internet, we know the World Wide Web, we know what an ISP is, and then next thing is, then how do you view, or how do you take part in this internet thing? How do you take part? So now this is where now web browsers come in. So now to view web pages, you need a certain app. An app that is used to view web pages is called a web browser. And crazy thing, you guys can create your own, you know that. Once you know how to do a little bit of coding, you can create your own web browser with time. Maybe if you are persistent enough, maybe by the end of the year or next year, you'll be able to build one, a basic prototype. So now, to view a web page, you need a web browser. Then what is a web browser? A web browser is a software program that requests, download, and displays web pages on a web server. That is what a web browser is. It's just software that requests and then downloads, after downloading, and then displays on your computer. Hence, you cannot access the internet if you do not have a web browser. Because now, when you access the internet, how then do you view web pages if you don't have a web browser? You see, so for you to have, for you to access the internet and view the websites, you need a web browser for you to be able to do that. Then it will allow you to be able to view these web pages. And then now you can access a web page by entering its unique address. You see, this is something that I spoke about before. Now, the web address or the web page, by entering its unique address, the unique address is called a URL. Uniform Resource Locator. That's the one that you usually type on a www.google.com. That is a URL. It's a Uniform Resource Locator. So now that locator there, the moment that you type www.google.com, you are literally putting a specific address. It's like going on a GPS there and typing your home address. That is technically what you do on a web page using a URL. So now, what do URLs do? URLs consist of a domain name and a top-level domain designation, e.g. Google, isn't www.google.com. www, you know what www means. And then Google, that aspect Google there. Google is the domain name. And .com is basically the location of the server. .com is United States. So every time, whenever you see a website that says .com, you know that the location, it doesn't mean that the person who runs the website is in South Africa or not, but that .com simple means that originally the locator for .com is United States. That's why in South Africa, .co.za. If you move to Botswana.co.bw, if you go to UK.co.uk, if you go to France.fr, if you go to Australia.au, you see, like that. It depends on where you are, and then it gives you that what you call that end extension there, which is basically a geological location. So now many URLs also include a folder, file, and folder and file names, and are separated by /. I'm pretty sure you've seen, if let's say, for instance, most times, if I need to connect my Amazon account to a TV, so what I usually do is there's a website that they'll give you, amazon.com/myTV. You see that /myTV, it simply means that amazon.com is the website, the domain name, and the designation there. And then the moment that I say /, now I'm including either a file or a folder name. That is what I'm simply doing there. So that brings me to a direct part where I'm going. Because if I just say amazon.com, it will give me an entire Amazon page. But if I need to be specific about where exactly I'm going, then I can say /myTV. It will take me directly to that web page, my TV web page. I don't know if that makes sense. So now, now they are showing you here. Now notice URL identifies a computer. The protocol, this is the protocol, HTTP. HTTP hypertext, is it hypertext? No, it's not. So there's HTTP here. And then www.ipo.com/news. So now, IPO is a domain name, ipo.com, that literally is a domain name. And then this here is a folder, this here is the protocol. And there are two types of protocol. There's HTTP, and then there's HTTPS. PS is got the S there, that means the protocol is a secured protocol. And usually that is the one that you're encouraged to use, the one with an S at the end there, because it is licensed. It is what they call a license key. But this one here, the HTTP, it doesn't have a license key. So now, and then there's something called an IP address. This is a numerical address or a computer that is connected to the internet. Now, guys, every time, whenever you connect a computer to the internet, that computer is automatically allocated an IP address. I know that there's this general thing that a lot of people usually say, that people trust you using your IP address, which is true. They can trust you using an IP address. But now, how does it exactly work? Do you have the same IP address each and every time? The answer is no, you do not have the same IP address each and every time. Your IP address changes, because most IP addresses for your devices, they are determined by the ISP. Your ISP is the one that gives you an IP address. So every time you connect to their network, they will allocate you with an IP address. So if you move, from instance, I was using RAIN, then I'm going to Telkom, my IP addresses won't be the same. It will change. But now, how then do they know that I am who I am, or who I'm saying that I am? Now, it is because the ISP knows whom they gave the address to. See, now this is where the difference is. The ISP knows whom they give. So the only person that knows exactly who you are, it's your ISP. And then the hackers, then they can come and like hack into your system. They check your location, because your IP address can actually literally give you a location, because that is something that is on the internet. Your IP address can literally give you a location of where you are at that particular time, because you're connected to the internet. But remember, you are not connected to the internet or to any router, you don't have an IP address. But the moment that you connect to a router or a network, you are given an IP address automatically. That's how it works. And then there's something, they say every device in a computer network is an IP address, because a computer cannot function without an IP address. So how, if you're connected in a network, how would I know that I'm sending files to you? Like, how am I supposed to know that I'm sending your files to your computer? Or how do I navigate to your computer? Hence, you need an IP address, and this is where an IP address works. And then the domain name is the text version of a computer's numeric IP address. See, the domain name is a text version of the computer's numeric IP address. For instance, every time, whenever I design a website, then I give it a name, www.tabo.co.za. The moment tabo.co.za, what I'm literally doing, I'm giving it a domain name. But where I am hosting the website, the server where I'm hosting the website has got an IP address. I can literally use that IP address as a substitute for I can use that IP address as a substitute. I can literally do that. But it's easier for people to use domain names, because it's a language that they understand. So now, notice the difference between IP addresses and domain names. An IP address is an identifier for a computer or a device on a TCP or IP network. Network routes messages based on the IP of the destination, and the format of an IP address is 4 numbers separated by periods. They give you, each number can be from 0 to 250. This is the example of an IP address, 1.140.10.230. See this here. So it's 4 numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it can be 255, 255, 255, 255. Or 192.168.0.1. Like this one, 140, 10, 230. See, can be anybody's IP address. And then a name that identifies one or more IP addresses, that is what they call a domain name. It identifies one or a bunch of IP addresses. Like, for instance, there are other websites that are hosted on separate servers. So now, if you are hosting websites on separate servers, are you going to be using the same IP? No. Which means you have to use a bunch of IPs. So now, how is it easier to use a domain name or to use IPs? Obviously, a domain name will be easy. Like, for instance, here they gave you an example of a domain name, notifycorp.com, that represents several IP addresses. Domain names are used in URLs to identify particular web pages. E.g., notice here, www.notifycorp.com/index.html. The domain name is notify.com. You see, so now that's the difference between a domain name and an IP address. It's basically the same thing, but same thing written in different ways. And then now, top level domains, and then a top level domain, the designation is indicate the type of an organization or general domain. E.g., here they're doing this .biz business, .com commercial or personal, .edu education, .gov government, .mil military, .net, network provider.org, non-commercial community. But it's not that people now follow this part, but proper businesses, they practice this because it actually helps you to determine the level of professionalism that you have applied, especially if you develop a website. So how then to and then you simply apply these things there. So now he needs to know these top level domains. And then see that some countries have their own TLDs. et.my, Malaysia.sg, Singapore.jp, Japan.us. See, they've changed now. United States.de, Germany.fr, France.au, Australia. I'm speaking about this. So some countries have got their own TLDs there. Remember. So now, on that, then in the URL, the domain name and the top level domain designation are preceded by a protocol. Sorry. So now for web pages, that protocol is called the Hypertext Transfer Protocol. See, now that Hypertext Transfer Protocol, this protocol is the one that is actually responsible for you being able to maneuver through these websites, which is the communication standard for transmitting websites over the internet. So the HTTP protocol, this here is the standard for transmitting web pages over the internet. You need this particular standard there. And most web browsers will insert an HTTP protocol automatically as the requested web is loaded on the browser. That is why if you check a lot of web browsers, every time whenever I say, even if you say google.com, next thing HTTP. If you say facebook.com, HTTPS. Always happens like that. And then alternative page viewing devices. So now there are certain devices that we use for viewing web pages. In the past, the most common was using a desktop or a laptop. That was like back in the day. When our parents were growing up and stuff, they used to use a desktop or a laptop for them to be able to view web pages. But with time, times have changed. Today, you can also view web pages on a handheld computer or your phone. Handheld computers are wireless portable computers designed to fit on your hand. Each, you've got PTAs, which is a personal teacher assistant, which is basically like, for instance, now these are called smartphones. These PDAs, they're called smartphones. But back then, there used to be a big thing there. But now, no one needs this anymore. Now we're just using smartphones. So you can either use a smartphone or a tablet for you to be able to view the internet. And then now, notice here, these are all devices, guys. These are all devices. Then see, you've got these phones here that you can use, these smartphones and the tablets and things like that. And then websites can be categorized as either personal or organization or commercial. So we've got different types of websites that we usually work with. Now, a website type differs from the website's purpose. You see, like each and every website has a reason. So the way that a website looks, you cannot develop, for instance, an e-commerce website like a portfolio website. They operate differently. Those two are totally different, and you can never develop them the same way. See, they have to be different because they are different. And then now the first one, a personal website. Now a personal website, an individual can create their own personal website. So now your task for the end of that, for the end of this month, is for you to develop a personal profile website. So a website about you. That is what you're simple designing. So literally, you're going to make a CV, but that's a website. So you're going to talk about you. You're going to put your projects that you have done. You're going to tell people what you are doing. and then things like that for marketing purposes. So next time, whenever they say, let's say, whenever they say things like, tell us about who you are, and then you're going to have a website for you to do that. Can you guys excuse me for a second? Hi guys. Can you hear me? I'm back now.
Yes, Mr. TC, we can hear you.
Okay. So regarding what we have done already, so do you have any questions, any queries so far? Is it a lot to take in?
I think there are no questions, Mr. TC. You can just continue. Okay, there's a hand.
Yeah, Matome. Matome?
Oh, sir, I wanted to ask with the website that you said we should create.
Yeah.
So if at the moment you haven't created something, so what do you write there? You have to write things that are IT related, or you can write about.
Let me show you. Personal, a developer. Okay, just give me a second. Okay, check this out. I'm gonna share something with you also. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes,
Yeah. So now, what we have here is basically a website. It's a personal website. It's a little bit fancy, but technically this is what we call a personal website. Can you see that? Hi, I am Charles Breuer, but you can call me Charlie. I'm a graphic UX designer and front-end developer. See, there is a graphic designer and UX and UI front developer. See that then from there, it's either you can say click here to see he's got another page, then he's got another page here where he says you can learn more. So if we click on this page here, and then it will lead us to another page where Charlie talks about him, like who is he and stuff like that, you see. So, and then he says hi, and then he puts a picture of himself here. And then from there, in regards to hi, I'm Charles, what, used to Charlie on social media, what, and then scroll down, and then it gives you his CV. See, and then he opens up his CV, and then see that. So he actually linked with his website with a simple CV on a Word document. See that? So technically, that is what I'm looking for. Like something quite simple. So you can have I and so put a picture, then just bring more information about you. You can do that, and then you can view stuff. This is that contacts, Instagram, LinkedIn, then you've got other profiles there, and then from there, he's got that welcome page there, he's got the projects that he has done. And you click on them and see some of these projects that he has done. See that? So these are some of the projects that he has done and things like that. So this is what was Simple talking about. See, simple website. So that is what I actually expect from you guys. Just something simple, not hectic.
Okay, Mr. TC.
Is it cool? Is it too much work? Troy?
Yes, sir. Okay, so in regarding to creating the website thing, the landing page, right? Are we allowed to use any application software? As long as it has a okay.
HTML, CSS, JavaScript. I want to see the code.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to see the code. It's just a learning curve. I just want to see a code. Because the thing is, what I'm trying to avoid is people creating using WordPress and things like that. No, I want to see the code. That's what I want to see.
Okay. Another follow-up question based on that, right?
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you about the internet thing. You said we're not owning the internet. Internet, it has been lended to us, and then we are subsidized based on the internet using it.
Yeah.
Yes. So please elaborate further on that.
Okay. I was talking about the South African situation, isn't it?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So I was saying that we do not own the internet. Look, as much as there are certain websites that you actually do own, but a majority of the internet traffic that we have in South Africa doesn't belong to South Africa. It comes from outside of South Africa. Yeah. So technically, we do not own that information that we have. And remember, in South Africa, how do we get our internet?
In what regard, though?
Like how does internet get to us? How are we connected to the entire world?
Via the web, what you call the what?
Yeah. Yeah, but now the question is, do we have internet servers in South Africa?
I would like to think so. Hear me out. Hear me out. Hear me out. Hold on. There's a no. Let's not indulge into a fishing expedition. It's fine, sir. Go ahead.
No. What you want to say something? I want to hear. That's all.
No, I don't. Okay. So in Cape Town, right? When rain. Yeah, no, this one. Conflict of interest. Let's leave it, sir.
No, say it.
Let's leave it. No, there are servers in South Africa. There are servers in South Africa.
Listen,
yeah.
Don't get me wrong.
That are hosting the internet.
Don't get me wrong. We have servers in South Africa. But now, if we have servers in South Africa, how much of that content is our own?
Yeah, that one I'm not sure about it.
Exactly. Like, if you look at the internet, the whole part of internet, our content, like we don't have much when it comes to content. Our content is very, very small. So imagine now if we cut off whatever that we get from overseas, the content that comes from overseas, and then we say we're only dealing with South African content. Like for instance, what North Korea did. Yeah. How much of the content are we going to have? It's not like we're not going to have internet. We will still have internet, but how big is our infrastructure going to be? It's not going to be a lot. Like we'll be very limited. Like we'll be back to the Stone Ages, literally. That's what's going to happen. So now, when you look at the proper internet servers, which companies own the major internet servers in the world? You've got Amazon.
Google.
We've got Google.
Yeah.
Amazon is the biggest by far right now. and then you've got Google,
Yes.
which comes in close
Yes.
second, and then you've got Microsoft, and then you've
Microsoft,
got,
yes.
yeah, then you've got Apple.
Yeah.
And then there are other companies there that I will not name, like about IBM and things like that. There are so many. But now, if you check, most of these companies that I'm talking about, their major offices are in Silicon Valley. And now,
Yes.
where are we getting how do we get our internet in South Africa? We receive our internet via what they call undersea fiber cables
Yes.
that are laid under the sea. And where are they coming from? They're coming from the United States.
Mm-hmm.
So technically, our internet that we have, it's a courtesy of these companies.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes.
we pay certain fees for us to be able to get information. And they're the ones, remember, they're the ones that are maintaining these undersea cables. If there's a problem, they go undersea and fix those cables. Even though now they are working in collaboration with some companies here in South Africa, but those companies that are here in South Africa, as much as they are working in collaboration with them. So which means now you check these major companies, they have shares in those companies that even are here in South Africa that are giving us internet. Yeah. So technically, they own the internet. And then for the government to use, but like, remember, the government also pays for the internet that they're using.
So my question was, it seems like we're swerving away from my question. I was actually asking that we don't own it, and then we are subsidized for using the internet. There are bits and portions that are partitioned into pieces from each and every network distributors.
Yes, but now remember, those network distributors are also getting their internet from somewhere. That is where I'm coming from, that they are getting their internet from where, using these undersea cables that are coming from the United States and Europe. Yeah, like if you wanted to check, go online,
yes,
and check the network. Just go and say undersea fiber optic cable network. Then you will see what I'm talking about. Because our internet doesn't come from satellites. Satellites are too slow to give us internet. So as much as we do have our own servers here, but remember, our own servers here, they are holding content that is coming from somewhere. And that content that comes from somewhere, see, the trick is that content comes from somewhere. So if we had met our own content and say, no, our servers are holding our own content, then now we can start talking. Yeah. Because like, look at even big companies like Showmax, for instance. Showmax. How much of the information that Showmax has, as much as they're 100% South African, how much of the content that Showmax has that is South African?
Not too much. Just
it's
20% actually.
It's a fraction of what Showmax actually has. Yeah, it's around 20%. So that just shows you that as much as we have the resources, like for instance, Cape Town is doing very well right now. We've got our own small Silicon Valley, but we still have a long way to go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh no, I understand. All right. Thank you, sir, for clarity.
Yeah. Okay, guys. Are we together?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, yeah.
All right. So let's move on then from where we were and continue that thing there from the types of websites. As I said, that you guys are going to make your own website, and then you might use that website to promote your own yourself. Let me just put it like that. You're going to promote yourself using that particular website that you guys are going to design. So now, so we're talking about the personal website. Say that individuals, they create their own for a range of communication purposes. And then these websites there, you are going to, like, people use the personal website either to promote employment credentials, we spoke about this, and then to share news, photos with family and stuff. That's like things like Facebook, for instance. And then there are other people that are like adventurers, like these guys, they travel well and stuff, and they've got their own websites where they catalog their travels and their what they call safety tips and things like that. And then notice here, this is an example of a personal website. This is another form, like type of a personal website. See that? Home, writing, music, photography, album, blog, contact. And then this is for someone called Andrea Mann. She's a writer and a jazz vocalist. She's got her own website. Steve Jobs had a personal website also. See that? So he had a website there where he's talking about where there's a website on Steve Jobs and they talk about him. Actually, there's something that he wrote that was very interesting. Like remembering that I'll be dead soon is the most important tool I've ever encountered to help me make big choices in life. See, stuff that I was talking about there. Intriguing guy. So anyway, now we like see that there's so many ways you can make your website. So many ways. And notice here, this here is Facebook. And it's also a sort of a form of a website that you have. But I do not want you guys to go and use a Facebook profile for me and then you say it's a website. Yes, as much as it can be your website, because remember, you've got that link, www.facebook.com/ if your name is Uya, and then you say /Uya. See, like other people do that. There's nothing wrong with that, but for this assignment that we're doing, I need you for, as a part of your project, just design a simple website, something like that. And then and then there's also organizational websites. Now, organizational websites, an organization website is one that is owned by any type of a group, association, or organization, whether it is professional or amateur. For example, if you belong to the Advertisement Photographers Association of North Malaysia, you might volunteer to create an organization to promote member accomplishment and encourage support and participation. You can do that even at your, like for instance, let's say you stay in Soweto, for instance, and then there's like a youth group somewhere there, and they don't have a website, but you want to increase their awareness and stuff. You can say, guys, I can create a website for you. See, that can be is like your some of your work that you showcase to people that I did this. So you can create a website for that particular organization there. And then and then you see that there's this website called charity organization. Then this is a website. There are other websites like for instance, for our governments here, Home Affairs has got their own website, SAPS, they've got their own website, Department of Labor, they've got their own website, and then SARS have got their own website. See, banks, they've got their own websites. All of those are what they call organizational websites there. And then this is also another one there. And then we've got commercial websites. Now, commercial websites, for the goal of many commercial is to promote and sell products. So hence, this is what I was talking about here, that e-commerce. E-commerce is the underlying factor. This is where we're going. So you need to understand one of them, like especially in this day and age right now, the day and age where we are in this what they call 4IR, Fourth Industrial Revolution. Like the first industrial revolution, remember, was simple to develop a steam engine. And then the second industrial revolution was simple advancing on that. And then the third was just a leap towards more services and things like that. But now the fourth industrial revolution, one where we are right now, is what they call the information age. So we are at a place where almost everything that we deal about is all about information. And how do we deal that? One of the major aspects is this commercialization of almost everything. Like data is commercialized. I was talking to this other group of kids last time. I was like, right now, if you go and do an internet search, the biggest companies in the world right now, they deal in one commodity, and that commodity is data. That is what they deal with. Amazon, data. Actually, let me not just even talk about companies. Let me just talk about the richest people in the world right now. Out of the top 10 that we have, the richest people, 3 are people that are not in data. The rest, most of them, they deal with data. You look at guys that own Amazon, Jeff Bezos. You look at these 2 guys from Microsoft, Bill Gates and Warren Buffett. And then you look at this guy, what you call? Yeah, I even forgot his name. Like, if you look at it, like almost all these guys, they deal in data. Amazon, Google, or Alphabet Inc., like the company that is owned by Google, that owns Google actually, Alphabet Inc. You've got Microsoft, you've got Apple, which other company? I think it's IBM. But most of these major corporations now they are diversifying into more and more into data, just to show you like how important data is. And they sell that data to other companies, and especially a lot of these commercial website companies, like, as I said, like the other 2 people that I didn't mention, like the people that are in the like, as much as they're in the tech spec, they're not in the tech spec, but they're in what they call retail, and they're French. And see how they sell their items. A lot of the items are being sold online. They are marketed online. That's where they make a ton of their money. How do they do that? E-commerce. E-commerce plays a very, very important role, especially in this day and age right now, the age that we are. You see that's why I'm saying, from the smallest home-based business to the largest international enterprise. That's what we do. We're selling things online now. Hence the rise in digital platforms, your Amazon Prime, Disney, Netflix, Showmax, like all of these companies, Hulu, if you're like in the United States and stuff, like they are major, and it's all part of this e-commerce. The design and the content of large enterprise website might be much more sophisticated and complex than that of a small website, like a small business website. See that, like these ones are very complicated sites. Like, I like these ones here, like the sites that you've been dealing with here. These ones are quite simple. You just put a picture, put some words and explain and do this and do that, put a video, make it look nice. But commercial websites are a bit different, because now these ones, they receive financial transactions. They process financial transactions. They deal with people's data that is very sensitive, credit cards information, things like that. So there's a lot of work that you have to be put in so as to avoid exposing people to danger and to avoid them getting robbed, which means also it's so easy for you to get hacked because of things like that. So now the types are here. The sample of a large website. You see that Lenovo has got that sort of a website where they actually show their tablets and computers and stuff. They can even sell them online. This year is a type. Like, there are so many of these. You've got HP, you've got FNB, because now banks, as much as they are organizational websites, but at the same time, most of these banks have noticed that they've actually moved away from just being an enterprise website, just being an organizational website. They're now more e-commerce enterprise websites. They're no longer just that simple website there, because they're selling things online. Some of these banks, they sell cell phones and things like that for their clients. And notice this is a restaurant. In a restaurant here, you can create a simple website Hi guys. Hello guys, can you hear me?
Yes, sir, but you sound far away from the mic.
I hope this sounds better. I'm sorry, I got disconnected there for a second. So I just had to go pick up the Wi-Fi. I just disconnected. So now let me go back to. Okay, you can see my screen. Oh, can you guys see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now we're talking about instant messaging there. That's the other internet service that we have besides the emails. And then there's something called instant messaging. Instant messaging, IM, which is now in this day and age, this is one of the ways that we communicate the most using. We've got your IM, which is called instant messenger. And iMessenger from Apple, we've got that iMessenger, and then we've got WhatsApp, Telegram, then we've got Facebook Messenger. See all those instant messaging apps that we have that are all over the world now. So this type of communication service that enables you to create a kind of a private chat room, or that allows you to communicate with someone in real time over the internet. So whenever you get to commit with someone in real time over the internet, that is called instant messaging. So literally, you are communicating, you're talking to someone there and there, like, and you are responding to each on WhatsApp. See, so that is instant messaging there. It notifies you when one or more people are online, but not online anymore, but notifies you when someone exchanges a message with you. So for instance, right now, if I go in and send a message to you, and the next thing there's a pop-up, or if ever you still receive pop-ups, but if not, and then you're just gonna get an icon there showing you that there's a message that has been delivered there. And then examples, I've already given you a bunch of examples there, like your WhatsApp, your iMessenger, and then you've got iMessage, sorry, and then you've got also your Facebook, is it instant messenger on Facebook? Yeah, something like that. I'm just forgetting the names of those items there. And then chat rooms, we've got a lot of these chat rooms there. Nowadays, they are basically, we use them a lot for gaming. If you're a gamer, I'm pretty sure, or if you have seen people that game, I'm pretty sure they use a lot. You've seen that they use a lot of these chat rooms there. Where you've got things like Slack, you've got things like Discord. All of those are basic chat rooms there, where you communicate each other, but it's mostly through instant messaging. That is chat rooms there, and then text is usually displayed, and then people just get to see those messages, whatever that you're sending there. And then there's also VoIP. VoIP, also one of the things that's like it's taking over right now in the world, or it has taken over basically voice over internet protocol. We use this a lot to communicate. Your WhatsApp allows you to make phone calls, hence voice over internet protocol. So voice over IP. So you're sending your voice over the IP. Most companies these days, they're no longer using telecom lines. They're using VoIP phones because it's cheaper. They just buy data and then they can make phone calls, easy like that. And like long time back when people used to buy those, install those telecom lines, and then the bill comes from telecom, it's a huge bill like this. You don't even know how many calls were made and stuff. But nowadays you just buy data, buy an uncapped internet connection, and then you connect your phone over that network, and then you pay 400, 500, 600 rand every month, then you're done. You make phone calls, you receive phone calls, you browse the internet. See, that is VoIP. VoIP allows you to make free or very low cost telephone calls over the internet. That is VoIP. You can call any phone in the world, or any telephone can call you regardless of what equipment or network the person is using to call. See, so VoIP, e.g., you've got your Skype. Right now we're talking on Teams. It's VoIP or video conferencing. Now they tend to separate VoIP and video conferencing, but for me, at this point now, there's a very fine line. Like I can't separate between the two because they all look the same. They all look the same, really, but there's a slight difference there. And then news groups. Now, these are groups that you have, or forums where users discuss certain common interests. Each year, there's those things that I was talking about there, like things like your Slack, there's these platforms like if you go online where it's called Slack, where you get like tutoring tips, for instance, like I mean not tutoring, like coding tips. So there's a website where you can go and ask questions and people will respond to you. As long as they know the language that you're talking about, they'll respond to you. And the community tends to be a little bit mean. If you ask the most basic question, they will respond to you in a rough way. But if you ask the right questions, you get your answers that you need. So all of those are news groups there, where people with common interests are meeting over the internet, discuss certain things. If you have a problem with code, you can send it through, someone else will fix it. And then we've got FTP. Now, FTP, which is short for File Transfer Protocol, is a protocol for exchanging files over the internet. We use this a lot. For instance, you guys have got AnyDesk on your computers, and most times, most times you've got Mr. Sponello fixing your computers for you. So you want him to fix a few things. For instance, say, Mr. Sponello, my Microsoft Word is not working. And then when you check, and then it's because it is not activated and you need it to be activated. And then Mr. Sponello takes your computer, like AnyDesk, open AnyDesk, give him a key. The next thing, you transfer a file from his computer into your computer. And then from there, you see him starting to install a file that he transferred from his computer into your computer. Then he starts installing that file. That is File Transfer Protocol. This works the same way as HTTP for transferring web pages from server to a browser, and SMTP for transferring electronic mail across the internet. But now this one, basically, it is used mostly to download a file from a server, or upload a file to a server. We usually use this a lot, the FTP protocol. It has very vast uses, this thing. Like, right, I think amongst the protocols, amongst the internet uses that we have, I don't think the world would be where we are right now if we didn't have FTP, if we didn't have e-commerce and things like that. The world wouldn't have progressed the way it has progressed in terms of technology. And then any questions that we have based on the stuff that we have actually spoken about? Do we have any questions? Do you have any queries, any clarifications that people need before we move on?
Sir, I wanted to ask me about the web that you said we should create.
Yes.
Since at the moment I haven't created anything, so I just write an introduction into an intro about myself, then I have to create something.
Yes. For now, what I expect is something simple. Like I know that you guys haven't created anything, so what you can do is make it more like a profile. Hi, my name is so and so. I do this and this and this and this. If you are a graphic designer, I'm a graphic designer, and I'm doing this. I want to do this. Or if you're a developer, I'm a developer. This is what I do and stuff. You don't have to load anything for now, but just a brief introduction about who you are and what you do. So I'm literally saying create a CV, but in a web interface kind. So I'm not saying type a Word document. I'm just saying create an HTML page of your CV.
Okay, sir, I'm on side.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Any other question? Lucy, do you have any question? Therefore, no question today.
Yeah, I'm fine, sir.
Fine. Yeah, I'm saying Busi just amazed me. Imagine she just ignored.
No, sir, I have no questions.
Okay. Wesley?
Yes, sir.
How are you?
Fine, sir. I wanted to ask a question about
What's up, Wesley?
so sir, isn't SpaceX, SpaceX
SpaceX, like Elon Musk company. Yeah.
is it a data oriented company or
Come again? I didn't get your question.
is SpaceX a data oriented company?
A rater.
Data.
Oh no. No. They are a tech company, but they are based on they deal with something else. So Elon Musk was one of the people that I didn't count in.
Okay, sir.
Any other question? Michelle? Lisa?
No questions, sir.
Sure.
Yes, sir.
So I guess when you can create your website in your sleep, ne?
I can try.
HTML. Eh?
I can try, sir.
That's good. That's good. I'm seeing a hand there from TM. Who's TM? Troy.
Yes, sir. When is
What's up?
this whole thing due?
End.
End of the month.
Yeah.
End of the month.
Yeah.
Oh, how many pages are you? Sorry, come again.
So I'm saying I'm giving you guys time to go through, and I'm also want to make sure that at least we've done the basics of HTML, CSS, and things like that, especially for the ones that haven't done it. So, yeah.
So it's an incorporation of all those, what you call? Of those plugins. Like when you say HTML incorporated with CSS and what else?
Yes, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript.
Java. Okay.
Yeah. So all of them have to be working hand in hand. You see, this time I chose not to include databases. Then you do databases. We incorporate database when you do databases next month, because next month we'll do databases.
Oh, okay. So it's due end of the month.
End of the month, yes. So,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah, it's a lot of work. You'll be fine.
I will recover. I will recover.
I'm Tembil. I know you'll be fine. Okay, so any other Matome? Are you ready for the exercise?
I'm ready, sir. I'm ready.
Mr. Mkiz.
Yes, yes.
How are you, Mr. Mkiz?
I'm fine, and you, sir?
Good, thank you. I'll come back to you, Troy, just now. Mr. Mkiz, do you have any question? Are you ready for the exercise?
Yes, sir, I'm ready. I don't have any questions.
Okay, cool. Troy, I saw the end.
Yes, sir. How many pages are required? Or it doesn't matter.
Basic. I think 3 pages. At least
we can do just okay.
The landing page,
3 pages.
which is a home page. Yeah, is a home page. Then you've got a contact page, and then you've got a contents page.
Okay.
So
about us. Or contents page.
About you. Yeah. So which means your landing page, just make it nice, design it, and then your other page, the contents page is going to have the content that you need to put forward, and then your contacts page, this is where you share your contact details and your Instagram and what accounts that you have.
Yes. Okay. No problem. So you can make it. No. Let me not give you ideas. It's fine. All right. Thanks.
Okay, sure. We'll see. Are you answered now?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right. It's not something like huge. It's basic. I would like to think that it's basic. Tabang.
Sir,
How are you, Tabang?
I'm good, and you, sir?
Thank you. So are we together? Are we on the same page?
Yeah, we're on the same page, sir.
Okay, that's cool. Shirley?
Sir.
Yes, Shirley.
Yes, sir. How are you?
How are you? I'm good, thank you. Are you ready?
I don't know if I should say I'm ready or not. I'm not sure.
You'll be ready.
Sorry?
I'm saying you'll be ready.
Yeah, I'll start. I'll prepare myself.
Okay. All right. Mr. Sfiso. Wait,
Yes, sir.
how are you, Sfiso?
Good, thanks, and yourself, sir.
Good, thank you. All right, are you ready? Like, how confident are you with your HTML and your CSS?
HTML, I'm comfortable. CSS, a little bit, but JavaScript, I have no knowledge at all.
We didn't cover JavaScript last year, like for level 4.
I wouldn't say quite, sir. As I said, very briefly.
Okay,
Mm.
no stress. We'll see. We'll see what to do.
So,
all right. Where's Antile? Antile, is Antile here today? Antile.
I am, sir. I am.
Hi, Antile.
I
How are
am
you?
here. I'm good, thanks, sir. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. So,
I haven't
how
done
far are
it,
you?
so.
I know, that's why I'm asking.
Oh, but I hope I'll adjust as we go. So.
Yeah, you catch up, don't worry. You'll catch up.
Yes.
And Wesley also, you're gonna catch up, Wesley, ne?
Yes, sir. Yes.
All right. So anyway, let me continue. Okay, I'm seeing a hand here. Matome?
Sir, I wanted to ask if what can you use to catch up?
Okay. Actually, that's a very good question. Okay, the thing is, we're gonna do a couple of lessons, but our lessons are going to be fast because I assume that most of you have got prior knowledge there on this stuff. So because of that, and then we are going to advance a little bit quicker than probably previously. So which means in 2 weeks' time, we'll have covered HTML, CSS, and the basics of JavaScript. Because the most complicated part there is JavaScript. JavaScript is complicated, so I'll make sure that we have covered. And Sfiso just put in W3 Schools. He says it's a good learning platform, of which he is very right. So you can go through w3schools.com and then just check out the lessons. They've got tutorials there, so they just give you some basic tutorials there. It's nothing advanced, it's just basic, which is good, especially if you have never done this before. And then just go through W3 Schools, and then it will go through you with the basics of HTML. HTML, if you practice properly, you will be okay in about 4 days. You'll be almost proficient. Because guys, don't forget, these days, coders, you don't need to claim. Coders, you can always refer to code. So it's not any issue to go through and see what other people are coding and then try to apply it yourself. As long as you know how it works, and then you'll be good. So HTML won't take you time. Probably 3 days at most, you'll be fine. And then CSS is going to take a little bit longer, maybe 5 days to a week. And then JavaScript is the one that will be adjusting as we go, because there is a little bit of work there. I hope that answers a bunch of questions that people might have had. So on this note now, let me do this. Okay, I want us to look at something. There is something else that wasn't available on my slide there based on this. So check here, according to your module, there's this part here about intranets and extranets. So now we're defining what the internet is, and we defined what the World Wide Web is, www there. And then based on that, now there's something here. It says that the explanation identifies, okay, let me go to where this explanation talks about there. How the World Wide Web can be applied in an intranet or extranet. So now, when you're talking about an extranet, let's start there. An extranet is a computer network that allows controlled access from outside for specific business and educational purposes. Now, when we talk about the extranet, that's what the extranet is. A computer network that allows control access from the outside. Like for instance, a lot of companies, they have extranet. So now, this is a type of a service or a network that you go home. When you are home, and then there's a certain secure site from the company that you work for that allows you to be able to log in there and check, e.g. the police. Do you know that the police have got extranet on their phones? There are specific phones that they use, and then they have to enter. I don't know if it's all the police officers. It's just that the guys that I know, the guys that I've worked with before, they are not exactly the typical police. They are mostly detectives or guys that work for Hawks mostly. So now what they do is on their phones, they can go and enter a certain IP address, and then that IP address opens up a certain link that is connected directly to the police, where they can actually literally view documents. I don't know if they are allowed to do anything on that, but they can view and see certain aspects, especially if they're investigating a case, they can see certain aspects. You see, so now that is an extranet. It allows you to operate from the outside. I'm pretty sure it's hence it says controlled access. So now controlled access simply means that whatever that they do, there's certain aspects there's certain things that they cannot do. For instance, they can't delete, they can't edit, they can simply view. That is what police also do in roadblocks there. Every time, whenever they stop you, and then they're like, no, let us just check your car. Next thing, they go to a computer there, they sit down, they type a few things on their computer or their number, and next thing, a whole lot of information about you or about your car comes out. That is an extranet. It allows them to work from outside of the office because they're outside of the office, and then they can be able to access the data from outside. You see, that is for specific business, for instance, and educational institutions also do that a lot, especially universities. They do that a lot. They allow for that extranet. If let's say you are doing your PhD and stuff, then you can be allowed to access certain aspects of their website from outside of the school. So in a business-to-business context, an extranet can be viewed as an extension of the organization's intranet that is extended to users outside of the organization, usually partners, vendors, and suppliers, you see, in isolation from all the internet users. Because the internet is a very dangerous place. If there's one thing about the internet, it's a very dangerous place. So most organizations, they need to separate their servers from the internet servers. And the reason why is simple. Like, you do not want people touching certain sensitive information. Imagine if a Home Affairs was on the internet full time. It would be chaos, it would be a mess. But now they remove their entire network from the internet, then they operate in what they call an intranet, which means only people that are working for that organization have got access to certain information that is privy to them, that is privy to whoever is supposed to be working. Anyone else doesn't have access to that. Even over the internet, you cannot log in and do anything. See, so in contrast, business to consumer models involve non-servers of one or more communicating with previously unknown users. You see, so this is where you can create an account with a certain company or on their website there, and then they actually allow you to have certain privy information. Then the advantage is there. The advantage is that exchange that volumes of data using the electronic data interchange. Then you can share product categories exclusively with trade partners. So you don't have to share with everyone over the internet. Collaborate with other companies on joint development efforts, and then jointly develop and use training programs with other companies. Provide or access services provided by one company to a group of other companies. So now, a very good example I can call it the intranet. So the difference between intranet and extranet. Say a good example of the intranet here is your portal. Is your portal the auto portal? So someone who doesn't have specific details, then they cannot log in. But a lot of universities make use of these things here, the portals, the intranet. So an intranet is an organization's own type of internet. That is an intranet. So the disadvantage is the extranets can be expensive to implement. They are very, very expensive because remember, you need your own hardware, you need your own servers, you need your own software, you need to train the people to use it. And then if hosted internally, rather than an application server provider. You see, like imagine if the portal, your auto portal, was managed and hosted, like let's say at the school, like by extensive 100%. So it makes things a little bit, it becomes a little bit too taxing, even though it's doable. It's very, very doable, but it's a lot of work. So hence, if you host it externally, it actually makes your work a little bit easier, as much as it's expensive, but it's a little bit, it takes a little bit of load off the people that are supposed to be working on that. And then security of extranets can be a concern when hosting valuable information. See, security of extranets can be very, very problematic. Imagine the police, the security there, it's a lot. So that security becomes a concern because you hear sometimes a docket disappeared. How did it disappear? Things like that. So because of the security issues, I never really taken much seriously there. And then intranet or extranet form a major part of the information systems of many corporates. A lot of companies use intranets or extranet as powerful tools to manage their resources and work in a systematic manner. One of our most valuable services is helping companies enhance their business and communication channels using intranet and extranet. See, like, and then an intranet is a use of net and web technologies that happens inside of your own organization. The extranet is basically the same thing, but it happens outside of your organization. See, so that's the difference between intranet and extranet. Intranet, you're working from inside. Extranet, you're working from, intranet, you work from inside. Extranet, you work from outside. And what could you use an intranet in a business environment for, and include some ideas, e.g. document distribution, reducing cost, improving timelines of distributing information. Like here, document distribution. Imagine if universities around South Africa, if they don't have intranet, how much material are they supposed to be printing out to give to their learners? It's a lot, and it's waste. So how then do they reduce that? They make use of the intranet. So the intranet now, they just do the intranet, and then from there, people just go in there, and then they start what you call downloading whatever that they need. They read using computers, using their tablets and things like that. So it reduces cost and also allows for widespread access of knowledge or of content. And then also provide a secure medium for the distribution of confidential information. See this. So your confidential information is very secure there. And interactive services, surveys, etc., training, database access, you control all of this stuff, intercompany communication, you see. So now, so it's so easy to talk in the company if there's like that. And then there's also customer support. Also, it's done using these intranets there. And then now, what is the intranet then? An intranet is a private computer network based on communication standards over the internet. It is a smaller version of the internet that only the members of an organization can see. See, that is the intranet. Only members of the organization can see. Anyone else who's not part of the organization cannot see this. Can't see that. So now, companies can create within their walls a manageable, secure version of the World Wide Web. So companies can create their own version of the World Wide Web there. So, excuse me. So hence, this thing that we're talking earlier about when we have that discussion with when Troy was asking a question about when I said that we do not own our own internet. So technically, there is a certain internet that we own, but if we do that, and then you only want South African to be the only country that accesses it, it stops being an internet. It becomes what we call an intranet. That is what in countries like North Korea, that is what they do. That is what they have. People from North Korea are cut off from outside the world, totally. They can't view what people from outside of the world are viewing. Sorry guys, do you need like a 5-minute break? We'll be done by 4:30. So. Hello. Guys, can you hear me?
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Yes.
Do you need like a 5-minute break or what? Or you are fine? Because we'll be done like 4:30, 4:20 somewhere there. So you're not gonna say anything? Should I continue?
We can take a break, so it's fine.
Okay. That's 5 minutes. Oh, yeah, 4 o'clock. Bye, guys. Okay, so going back here. So now I was explaining what the intranet is. So that the intranet here is a computer's own low or private internet, which is quite small. And then we say that the companies can create their, like within their own walls, a manageable but secure version of the World Wide Web. And then using these intranets will change the culture of organization. For instance, by making a lot of information easily available. I was explaining here that universities, they make use of a lot of this. Like universities, they can't operate without the intranet, because that is where they make information available. Any university that you go, they've got their own portal, where they've got their own information, where they share almost everything about the university, opening dates, closing dates, the dates for exams, your exam results, your notes, anything pertaining to your course, your marks, everything is there. You find it in the intranet. When you log into the school's intranet, you find everything that pertains you, that pertains the organization, that pertains the university. You find it there. See, so now intranets allow an organization to spend less time on things that bring no value, such as chasing down the right information to solve a problem. See, like, for instance, imagine if the university takes time to be busy printing out stuff and pasting it all over. Instead of doing that, instead of like timetables, for instance, instead of busy sitting down, making a timetable and then pasting it off, they just tweak that, upload it on the portal, on the intranet, and then you just log in and then you check anything that's relevant to you and you find all the information that you need. That is the power of in the intranet. See, it increases productivity as corporate knowledge is more accessible. So it's so easy for people to be able to access content, to access information about the organization. And then flexible time of delivery and of knowledge is gained as information is always a click away. You see, like information is always just a click away. Anytime you need anything, just open, click, you find whatever that you're looking for. And then intranets allow for a place where boundaries are lowered and information exchange is encouraged. This leads to more informed employees with the ability to work better, especially if you are working in an organization. And then extranets also, they're part, because now intranet, then extranets allows people also to work from outside. When they are outside there and they need certain information, so which means anytime, anywhere, people can get information that is relevant, that allows them to work. For instance, let's say something happens at home and then you can't go to work. But at work, they want something done and then they want it urgent, but you cannot be there. But you can afford to take a computer and start working. So if that's the case, then make use of the extranet. And then you just log in, do whatever that you need to do, upload, and then you're out of the way. And then having all your business, all your key business information easily and quickly accessible will help your business to prosper. You see, like it's easy for your clients to understand you. It's easy for your workers to understand you because your information is always there. It makes you transparent and it's easy to trust a business that is like that. And then just as there are many internal users for web technologies, companies also need to find better ways to communicate with external customers. Hence, you see the extranets, the extranets, they also improve you. They also improve in terms of your communication, because if every time you just upload information on the extranet, every time you upload information on the extranet, and then it's easy for people whenever they log in and then they find all the information waiting. It's right there in their faces. They can say, nah, I didn't see, or I didn't check my emails and things like that. All the information is there. And then external applications, application areas for customers, partners, and dealers include product and brochure specifications, product pricing, frequently asked questions, the ordering information, distributor sales contact list, customer support contact list, details of warranty, support documents, and employee recruitment. You see, all of these are part of extranet applications. This is how we can use the extranet for you to perform your work. So those are your extranets there. So with that, because we have touched this here, we are done here with all this, the viewer IP. So technically, we are done with module 1. So now what's left is module 2. And then module 2, we're going to touch on it tomorrow. Then we're going to hit module 2 and then finish it. We finish it up because module 2 is a little bit longer. It's a little bit longer than module 1. It's a little bit longer. So that is. Anything that says deal in group works, you guys have got your own groups. So you guys can deal with that. So anything that says group work, you guys have got your groups, and then you can always go through those groups and you discuss anything that is left. So as I said, that is it 4 or 3? I think it's 3. 3 formative assessments. You guys go through your books here and check. So any question, or this was straightforward? Guys, do you have any questions, or we fine?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
HTML codings.
Wesley?
Yes, is HTML mostly composed of coding?
Yeah, technically, yes, there is. So HTML is a language that is used to code for websites. So to make the basic structure of a website, you just use HTML. It's quite basic though. It's very, very, very basic.
Yes, because now I'm looking at I just downloaded called Mimo. Do you know it, sir?
What did you download?
App, the app.
Or an app?
Said it coaches of this asking if
It's asked.
reference it for
You're breaking up. I'm not getting what you're saying.
I'm saying I'm using an app called Mimo now.
Okay.
It's just coaching me.
Oh yeah, yeah. Just go through it. So any other question that you have, I'm there. Like you can always ask. Just that. But anyway, you know where I am, so you can just come by this side, and then I can help you out. Okay. So guys, are we sorted? So are we guys fine now? So no questions, nothing?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so okay, now I was saying that tomorrow I'll say like if Mr. Assessor is available tomorrow, and then he can talk to you. And then if not, and then we'll see how to work around this aspect of these assignments. As I said, your formative is you can start with your formative, especially based on what we've covered. There's a formative already that's waiting. Actually, 3 formatives, I think, that are waiting for you based on module 1, program 2, module 1. So based on that entire module 1, that has got 3 or 4 specific outcomes. We need to go through all of them. All of these specific outcomes there. You need to go through all of them there. And then get started with them now. And then let me see, I think this was specific outcome 3. Just 1 second. Yeah, no, it's two specific outcomes. So a specific outcome 1 and specific outcome 2. So, and then you just have to go through those 2 formative, and then from there, and then we can always start with the summative. So if there's no any further question, you guys have a good day, and then we will talk again tomorrow. Let's meet tomorrow, but tomorrow we'll meet our normal time, 2 o'clock on the dot. So tomorrow, try to be early, like 2 o'clock, and then so that we can start, because we have a lot of ground to cover. So now, instead of just covering practical theory, I mean, we'll be just covering both theory and practical, because there are some certain aspects that we need to revisit, especially in our practical. Okay, so have a good day, guys, and then we'll meet again tomorrow.